India's economy is currently expanding faster than almost any other major nation, but this growth is built on a fragile foundation. Despite its scale, the country remains reliant on global supply chains for the most sophisticated parts of its industrial base, from the chips in its computers to the engines in its planes. This dependence is a strategic liability. In a world where trade routes can be closed and technologies restricted, a nation that doesn't own its supply chain can find its growth stalled by decisions made in foreign capitals. On April 16, 2026, a series of announcements across the defense, technology, and agricultural sectors reached the public. While these reports came from different agencies and private firms, they shared a single common objective. These updates, all arriving within hours of each other, targeted specific vulnerabilities in the national economy. They weren't isolated business deals. They were the practical application of a long-term strategy to replace foreign imports with domestic production. This is the logic of a country attempting to reach true superpower status. To do that, a nation has to stop being a consumer of other people's technology and start building its own self-sustaining ecosystem. The first priority is capturing the high-tech supply chain. To do that, the government officially approved a special economic zone in Dholera, Gujarat, for Tata Semiconductor manufacturing. This 91,000 crore rupee investment represents the establishment of India's first major chip fabrication unit. By etching and producing silicon locally, the country is attempting to secure the brains of its digital economy and move away from its historical reliance on Taiwan and China. While chips provide the logic, the state also requires physical power. On that same day, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and GE Aerospace finalized a tech-sharing agreement for jet engines. The agreement focuses on the F414 engine, and its value lies in the transfer of critical manufacturing technology. Indian engineers won't just be buying engines, they will be learning how to build and maintain them within their own borders. These locally built engines are intended for a planned fleet of over 120 indigenous fighter jets. As regional competition increases, the ability to build and repair combat aircraft without waiting for foreign parts is required for maintaining a modern air force. By localizing microprocessor production and aerospace engineering, the country ensures that its infrastructure can function even if global trade is disrupted. Producing under 20% of its cocoa requirement creates an $866 million annual import bill. To stop this, the National Mission on Cocoa targets self-sufficiency by 2040. Training 100,000 farmers and building seed gardens will grow domestic production to match the 5 lakh tons of annual demand. But high-tech chips and agricultural independence only work if the entire population can participate in the economy. This requires a financial system that can reach beyond major cities and into rural villages. This is where the Bob World Lite app comes in. Developed for basic feature phones, it's designed to operate with limited internet connectivity, allowing users who don't own a smartphone to use digital banking. This allows millions of rural citizens to use UPI for money transfers and bill payments without needing a physical bank branch. It effectively digitizes the rural economy on hardware that is already in their hands. When you combine top-tier tech manufacturing with grassroots digital inclusion, you create an economy where the internal systems are as strong as the global ones. The strategy rests on 4 pillars: technology, defense, agriculture, and finance. Together, they form a closed economic circuit producing exactly what the nation consumes. Activated on April 16, 2026, this infrastructure will no longer depend on foreign suppliers to function. The country is attempting to shift its role in the global order. It is moving from being a market for foreign products to being a primary producer of its own essential resources and technology. This transition will take years and billions of dollars in continued investment, but the goal is to ensure that the nation's future is determined by its own industrial capacity, not by external supply chains. If this strategy succeeds, it will result in more than just a higher GDP. It will create a superpower that is entirely self-sufficient, from the food on its plates to the engines in its sky.